everything is being disrupted. So this is fascinating, right? How many of you use Uber? A lot of you. So here's the cool thing about Uber. What would you say Uber is? Because I don't actually agree with that. It's the world's largest taxi company. What business is it in? Yes, sir.
Best service company to transport you from A to B.
Okay, so transportation company. Is it a transportation company? Network. So I would say that Uber is the world's best logistics company because that's what they figured out. They figured out how to put a program on your phone that can get you a car in a specific time to a specific location. They can bill you for it. They can put the tip on it. They can take care of the entire thing. It's called a seamless experience. And the reason that I don't think they're just in the transportation business, for those of you who live in some of the cities where they've started this, there's now Uber Eats, where they deliver your food. They are going to be a huge player in the delivery business. But what's really amazing about what they've done is they've done it by not owning any cars. Uber is also one of the companies that's very big in the driverless car economy. Anybody been in a driverless car? Super cool. Driverless car basically means that human error gets taken out of driving and that we will, depending who you listen to, 2020, 2025, maybe by the time it's an all-millennial workforce, by 2025, most of us will not have cars anymore. We will call up a service, a car will come get us, and will take us not only from point A to point B in our own city, but will take us wherever we need to go. So that is going to change everything. It's going to change transportation. So if you own parking lots today, you may want to rethink it. If you own anything that has to do, if you own gas stations, if you own, and you're not in the P&C business, but for auto insurers, that's going to be a huge change in how people drive. So then we have Facebook. Facebook's a huge media company. They just released breakthrough earnings. They're doing extremely well. Advertising, to those of us who have a smartphone, all of their money is made pretty much on mobile advertising. But they don't own anything. It's us. They use our posts. We do the work. They make the money. That's pretty crazy. Alibaba is I don't know if any of you have used it. It's a Chinese company, and they are the world's largest marketplace. They own nothing. They deliver nothing. They do nothing except provide a platform for all of these Chinese companies to host their store on Alibaba. It's a fascinating company. For those of you who are following the financial markets, Yahoo owns a piece, and Yahoo's up for sale. So all of these companies are really linked together in some way. And then there's Airbnb. Anyone tried Airbnb? Good, bad, indifferent? Good? So Airbnb, huge disruptor. I used to work in the hotel business, as Cheryl told you. And if someone had come to me 10 years ago and said, these guys are going to start a company where they're going to start it by renting out air mattresses, you're like, what? And then they're going to get people to give up rooms of their house, or then they're going to let people stay in their apartment or their house. I would have thought they were crazy. And anybody in the hotel business would have thought they were crazy. But they came in and disrupted the hotel industry to the point where today the valuation for Airbnb is higher than Marriott and Hilton. Let me repeat. This is a company that does not own one piece of real estate. And yet they have a valuation higher than, we're in a Marriott right now, higher than these companies who've been around forever. So anybody who thinks that whatever they're doing or their life isn't going to be disrupted, it's happening at a faster and faster pace. So, Blockbuster Video. I will cop to the fact that I had to pay late fees to Blockbuster because I, for whatever reason, could not deal with the rule of having to bring the video back within 5 days. Do you remember those days where you had to go to the store and pick up the video and then bring it back? So what happened to Blockbuster Video? What happened to Blockbuster Video? Anybody been to a Blockbuster store lately? No? Because Blockbuster Video went out of business. Now, why did they go out of business? What did they miss? Streaming. But Netflix didn't start out with streaming, did they? Right? What did they do? I mean, the disruptive thing that Netflix did, which I don't think we really think about, but as an early adopter of Netflix, I remember getting the DVDs in the mail, remember? And then you had you get 3 of them, and then you got another one once you sent them back, so you could keep them for as long as you wanted. That by itself was the beginning of the end of the little fish. Poor little fish. There's a lot of fish in this. I don't know. It must be a theme. But that was really the beginning of the end for Blockbuster. They changed the rules because one of the other things that's happening with consumers is they don't want to hear about the rules. You know, in the old days, companies used to tell us how things were going to be. And the old days, by the way, were 5 years ago, but still, feels like a long time. And today, we want to make the rules. The consumer is the center of the universe, and Netflix realized that early on. So I worked in Hollywood, and I remember when Netflix first got started, everybody in Hollywood had the same opinion that people in the hotel business had of Airbnb. That is the stupidest idea. It was actually a bad word that I won't use, but it's a really crappy idea, and it's never going to work, and they're going to be out of business, and let's not deal with it. Here's something else that was cool about Netflix. At the beginning, they didn't create their own content. If you remember the beginning of Netflix, it was pretty much old movies and no TV shows because no one in Hollywood would talk to these people because they thought it was a passing fad. Well, guess what? For those of you who watch House of Cards, for those of you who watch Orange is the New Black, for those of you who watch streaming, to the person who said streaming, where are you? Yes? Netflix is now the 800-pound gorilla. Blockbuster is gone. And every single producer in Hollywood who used to poo-poo, is that a bad word? Who used to think that Netflix was never going to get anywhere is now trying everything they can to go sell their show or their movie to Netflix. It's become the go-to place. More than Warner Brothers, more than CBS, more than anybody else, everybody wants to play in the Netflix sandbox. But here's the other interesting thing. One of the most valuable disruptive companies is Amazon. They have disrupted everything. Think about where you go shopping. How many people are Prime members? Wow, I think that may be the largest group of anyone. So why are you Prime members? We're paying $99 a year so we can get stuff sent to us because we think that we have the 2-day free shipping. But what Amazon has done very cleverly is not just displace the store, they also are giving us a lot of free stuff that we're actually paying for, but it's kind of free, which is content. And they are now going up against Netflix, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So all of those people who can't get in to see the Netflix folks when they're trying to sell them a TV show or a movie are now knocking down Amazon doors. And we've all seen when Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, decides that they want to disrupt something or they want to succeed at something, I'd like to hear, I think they failed at one thing. And I asked the question about who has a phone. Does anybody here have an Amazon phone? Yeah, that's the one thing that they have failed at. But pretty much everything else that they've done, they've had a huge success.